Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Mellon. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Oxnard Union High School District, and we wanted to hop on here today with our partners, with the Oxnard Police Department and with the Oxnard School District to address social media threats that have been spreading across the nation and just answer any questions or concerns you may have. So I'm going to have everybody go around and introduce themselves.
Okay, everybody. My name is Dr. Tom McCoy. I'm the Superintendent of Schools for Oxnard Union High School District.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Degenna, and I'm the Superintendent for the Oxnard School District.
Good morning, everyone. My name is McArthur, and I'm a police commander with the Oxnard Police Department, and I have direct management oversight of the School Resource Officer Program.
And hello, I'm Carganilla. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for Oxnard Police Department. I oversee and monitor the social media for the department.
And Paul, we just wanted to speak with you on the ongoing concerns we've been seeing on social media, threats going on that have been targeting our schools or not targeting our schools, and just how we're working very closely with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department and also the Oxnard Police Department to address these issues. As I mentioned, threats are on the rise across the nation. A lot of school districts are seeing social media threats. Fake accounts are being created by our students as well. And if you guys just kind of want to speak on from the police department side, when you receive a threat, what happens on your end?
Yeah, I think this is a really important conversation to have, especially as a parent. I've got two children in the school system myself, and with the social climate, with everything that's going on these days in the world and in our country, it is a very important issue on the front of many parents' minds. And we hear your concerns as we do monitor social media. And we just wanted to get together and let you know that we're aware that it's going on, and address any questions that you have or concerns that we've seen come over social media over the past couple of days. So one big question and concern that I saw yesterday was yesterday morning, especially, why weren't all the parents notified right away as soon as we saw this threat? And why, when I dropped my kids off, I didn't see any police on campus? And Commander McArthur, if you can just address that.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, just to reiterate what I think, Brianna, you just mentioned, Paul, about how much of a disturbance this causes to all of us as a community. I too have a team that attends Oxnard High School. He's a senior there. And, one of the things that we do immediately, anytime information is received, whether it be through a student, a parent, or the school administrator themselves to us, we instantly get on that investigation to figure out the origin. We stop what we're doing. It consumes a tremendous amount of resources that could otherwise be utilized to provide to true victims of crime. The majority of the time, these messages that we get are hoaxes. Oftentimes they come from out of state, from other parts of the country. They're not specific to Oxford. Most of the threats that we receive are screenshots, and they purposefully do that so that we're unable to investigate the origin of where this threat came from. But we do everything we can within our authority to investigate those, because ultimately our principal role as law enforcement is to be good partners with our school campuses and the executive team of the schools, to make sure we provide a safe learning environment for students and for staff. But we dedicate a tremendous amount of resources to investigate these cases, and oftentimes they're just unsubstantiated. That's why you'll see when we collaborate on a message is that they're just not credible, and that's because they're just not substantiated. And they're very vague. They're not specific necessarily to Oxnard. What we saw yesterday, for example, we saw it go down south to Los Angeles, Orange County, even further down to Arizona, then Nevada. It was the same message that created a significant disturbance to all the campuses.
Commander or Dr. McCoy, if you can just touch on our relationship when Commander McArthur mentions that we're close, we work hand in hand as soon as we see these threats come out. What is that process like?
So we've been good partners with Oxnard Police Department for at least 30 years with our School Resource Officer Program, as has the Oxnard School District. And so when something like this comes up, we're talking with each other in real time. Both Dr. Degenna and I and our other local superintendents and our district's talking with Commander McArthur as our primary point of contact. And we're all organizing around what type of threat this is. Is it credible? Is it not credible? And then we try and communicate the same message through both school districts once we believe we have the right message and it's confirmed by the Oxnard Police Department. So our communication is always in real time. So that late in the evening when the threat we experienced this week came up, Dr. Degenna had texted me, and we included our other superintendents locally, and we were organizing around how this was coming across through all our schools, and then coordinating with the PD on what kind of response we would have in the morning. And so fortunately, early on, the police department had determined this was a hoax or not credible, as we say. And we were able, both from district levels and school levels, to message that out to our parents prior to the start of school. And that's always our goal, is to make sure parents know as soon as we know that it's a hoax. The reason why we're not notifying parents in real time is we have to determine what kind of threat this is. And if it is a hoax, we don't want to panic our community and give them information that's going to change later on. And then I'll defer also to Dr. Degenna right now.
Yeah, thank you. I would just reiterate what Dr. McCoy said. I think really want to just say that I very much appreciate the partnership with OPD. I think they've been incredible partners for us in being able to provide us information, and also available just to brainstorm ideas and to make sure we're on the right track. Again, the same with Dr. McCoy, that it's important that all of our families share a common bond between all of us present. We, being members of the city, as well as we all have families that go between our two districts all the time. And so we really want to make sure that that message is the same message. But I think the important part is for our students and our families to really feel confident that we take all of them seriously, and we don't skip a beat in communicating with each other and being able to support. Our interest is letting our families know that we are in communication and that we are taking every precaution, and that the safety and well-being of our students and staff are absolutely our priority. And I appreciate the partnership that we have in being able to do that. And though I agree that sometimes our families and community want the information a little quicker than we're able to provide it, we also want to make sure that we're providing the correct information to not cause more alarm. And that doesn't mean that we're not really taking it seriously. As Dr. McCoy said, we do this in real time, and I appreciate that we are able to all be available to each other to provide that support and security for our schools. So thank you.
We have a strong partnership among the three of us. So parents and students need to know that, we sometimes work up to 11 midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning when the threat comes in. We stop what we're doing and we just work on it. Us in law enforcement from our end, we immediately go into investigating the origin of that threat to determine its credibility. Oftentimes it's quite difficult, right? So we always struggle. Is it credible? Is it not? But we take it very seriously. It's very difficult for us oftentimes because they take a screenshot. And so it's difficult for us to determine where this message actually originated from. That handle is missing, where we're able to see who the sender is. Sometimes it presents itself like it's a Facebook post or an Instagram post. But what we oftentimes find is that message has previously circulated in another part of the state or another part of the country, and it lacks specificity. There's no determined plan as to how they're going to carry out whatever threat they're talking about. And it's very generic and it's very vague, and it can be applicable to any campus, really. But nonetheless, after we determine, hey, look, it's already circulated, there's nothing to really substantiate that this is going to happen to any particular school. Often the best responses for parents and for students is to please not circulate this message because it causes paranoia, it causes panic, frankly. So what we do in response to that is to reassure the parents that we are taking this seriously. to provide some level of comfort. We add additional patrols to the various schools in the morning. For us, is really difficult when you talk about like the Oxnard School District that has upwards of, I don't know, Dr. Jenna, like 27, 28 different schools.
We have
plus-
21 at ours.
Or 21.
Yeah.
But then you add the Wanimi School District that we also
Right.
provide service to, then the Rio School District as well. And then you add the high schools. We just simply don't have the staffing to provide adequate patrols to those campuses. So what we are then tasked in doing is taking from patrol officers, taking our traffic unit, our neighborhood policing team, and taking them out of their core function to go out to these campuses to be present, to comfort the parents and the students as well. But when these hoaxes come in, that's why it's, I want to stress that to students that send this message out. Not only this is a felony crime at the federal level, at the state level, and local level as well, because it consumes a tremendous amount of law enforcement resources to do just that. And we're taking away services that could otherwise be provided to victims of crime that truly need our help. But nonetheless, we provide these enhanced patrols to the campuses to reassure our campus community that we are taking any threat about it seriously, but nonetheless, we want to be there present and vigilant.
Mhm.
That's another thing too, is the students, in this world of social media, it's easy to just share something, pass something along. And sometimes it's easy to even create. You've got your own, movie studio in your pocket, basically, and create and share what you think is a joke or what you think is funny. And all of this without thinking of the circumstances, considering the effect on your future. Can you touch on, Commander McArthur, what kind of impact, if we were to determine that the threat did actually come from somewhere in Oxnard, whether it was a joke or not, when we find the student who is responsible, what kind of consequences are there for something like this?
Absolutely. And we've had a number of cases where we've actually been able to circle back, determine where the threat originated from. And we do that based on working with the FBI, working with our high task force. We determined the Facebook account, the Instagram account, that IP address that was utilized to generate that message. And the consequences to that, what we learned in all of the cases is that individual did it as a hoax. Right? We certainly don't take it as a joke. I know the FBI circulated a campaign out there that is no joke to them, and there are significant consequences. It is a felony crime where we can potentially file it as a felony crime through the FBI. And here at the state level and the local level, we can file it as well as threatening, causing a disruption to a school campus. And that young person is looking at juvenile hall time. And consequently, what does that mean consequently for them eventually having that on their record, right? There's some consequences that come with that beyond just some jail time for them for putting out this hoax.
In the last probably 5 to 6 years in particular, at the high school level, we have not had one of these online threats that was local not end up with the original student who put that threat online being identified and issued consequences both by the school district and the police department. The other thing that's been new for us in the last 24 months is we're now getting alerted by Homeland Security directly when one of our schools pops up in an online threat. And that could be like the recent one that originated in Miami. We had one in Texas last year that mentioned one of our schools because our school and their school had the same name. And we were alerted to that early in the morning and able to contact, in this case, Sheriff's Department, because we work with 3 different law enforcement agencies. So we want to assure the community that the real-time notification to us and to the police agencies is happening. And they are now primarily notifying us first. And the other thing we would say is that safety's job one every day. We want to let parents know that we have the resource officer program every day. We have single points of entry. We have new fencing, cameras. We, in the high school district, do random metal detector searches. We have the dog that comes and sniffs for things randomly a couple of times a month. So this isn't something where we just group around safety when a threat comes in. but I know our elementary partners have the same attitude. There's nothing that comes above safety each school day. And so in those days where parents should be reassured that there may be an online threat, but on all the other days as well, safety's job one for us.
The parent is at home and learns of it from her student, or if a student's on campus and sees a threat, what should the parent do to report it, and what should the student do to report it?
We review this with our parents and our students all the time. We have multiple ways of parents communicating with us. We do have an anonymous way, but parents could also let us know who they are, and it's available on our website and on all of our students' devices. And it's an app called WeTip. And that's in real time. We get that information right away, and it pops up not only at the principal level, but across the district, so that we are all aware of it and we're monitoring that consistently. So we encourage families to please let us know. Very often, and it does happen, our site administrators have given their contact information to all our families, so the families know how to contact them or our counselors, any one of our school personnel. We make ourselves as accessible as possible to all of our families and to our students. So we appreciate that communication. If you see, and we tell our students, if you see something, say something. The sooner you say it before you pass it on, it really provides us an opportunity to, to go into action, to eliminate all possible implications of that or dangers, and to again work with OPD and the high school district in partnership. So if you see something, say something. If you hear something, please let us know. Communicate it directly to the school. That helps us much more than having it posted out on social media and passing on the information.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. We also participate in WeTip, the anonymous reporting through the website. We would also want students and parents additionally to contact our district office, to contact the principal's office at each high school. And for students, even our youngest students, to report to a trusted adult. They can report to any adult on campus, whether that's a playground aide, a campus supervisor, a custodian, a teacher, assistant principal, or principal. All our adults are trained. We take mandated safety training through the Ventura County Office of Education for all our employees now that review these types of situations. So everybody who's an adult on campus is very tuned in to want to help once these incidents come up.
And aside from reporting as soon as we hear of anything or anything feels off, what can parents do to help their children through this process, other than, always checking in, being involved, being an active parent in their education, but also, as you mentioned, Dr. Degenna, how they're feeling? What else can parents do? It can be such a helpless feeling as a parent. Do you have any suggestions for them?
I would say that just stay aware of your children's behavior. If you notice any changes in their behaviors, if you see that there's something seems to be weighing heavy on their mind, communicate with them. I would continue to ask them to, stay aware of what they're doing on social media, of who they're following on social media, that though it's a very, it's a great source of information, it's also can be misleading information and information that causes undue stress for kids. So just be aware as a parent of what your students are doing on their social media, what activity and who they're following. Also, I would just say, stay connected with us. We, over the last few years, have really built up a strong mental health and social well-being department within our district. So we not only have school counselors, but we have social workers and we have clinicians that can assist when something is happening. So know that we're just partners with you in this, that the well-being of each one of your children is also in our best interest, and we want them to be well. So just reach out to us, and we don't have to wait for something traumatic to happen. Just stay vigilant on how they're feeling and how they're doing. Communicate with us, and don't ever hesitate to reach out. We have counselors available all the time. Now in our district, we have counseling services available from 8 to 6 p.m. at all of our sites, as well as throughout summer school. So please just know that we are here to support you and serve you and help take care of our kids.
I would 100% agree. We also in the high school district now have wellness specialists who are highly trained to help parents and students through different social emotional issues. They are located in actual physical wellness centers on our high schools. That's also where we connect to different community-based organizations that can assist parents with all types of different situations that may be happening in the home. Again, with your teenager, we offer actual parent classes and how to talk with your teen and stay connected. Those are in both in English and in Spanish through our parent liaison, Hilda Gomez, here in our district office. And we would encourage parents to take advantage of those courses. Sometimes there's a myth that when students go to high school, the parents should be less involved. And we would say absolutely not. Please stay involved and be more involved with our programs so that we can help that natural communication gap that occurs between teenagers and adults. We are aware of that and want to help make sure parents and students and families can stay in good communication. And we do have, as Dr. Degenna mentioned, now a lot of programming that's available to help parents and families through this or any other issue with their teen.
The main thing we want to take away here is just monitoring your child's social media accounts. A lot of childs have Instagrams, and then they also have a hidden or a private Instagram. Maybe it's a fake account. And so just kind of staying vigilant on what your child is doing. If it's looking through their camera roll to see if they have a saved social media threat, and just making sure that we're checking in on our students. Another thing I just wanted to know, a lot of parents I know do have questions, how do we stay up to date? How are we getting emergency notifications from our schools? And I can speak for our school, we do notify our parents through Parent Square immediately. And we also want to encourage families to make sure you have the most up-to-date information on ParentView and in Parent Square. Make sure your emails and your phone numbers are correct, so you will hear from us directly. And then Dr. Jen, if you want to speak to how you notify your parents as well in emergencies.
Absolutely. Our like you, our first vehicle is Parent Square. So we ask parents to please make sure to be aware of that, to connect to that. So that's the first way. And then because we know that that's immediate and they'll receive it right away. But in addition to that, we do use our social media accounts. So they can look on our social media accounts, both Instagram and Facebook, because we do post things there as well. But in case of an emergencies, it is Parent Square. So we do, I want to reiterate that, please make sure that if there's a change of phone numbers, changes of addresses, that you please let the school know so that we can adjust that and we're able to reach you as soon as possible.
Yeah, and at the police department's end, what we do when we work on a threat that's reported to occur at one of the schools, for example, we also do messaging through our social media platforms, but we share that information directly with our communication center, who oftentimes gets inundated with phone calls about whatever threat is circulating. And then we also share that information with all the patrol officers that are working our streets through their MDC. It's a computer that's in their squad car, so they get notification of what it is that we are working on, so that they know to go to those campuses and be present as well. And then one of the other key components we didn't discuss just yet is that we also work collaboratively with the schools in doing threat assessments. Mm-hmm. So if there's a child, student at any campus that demonstrates through maybe journaling or writing something on his schoolwork or in a book somewhere, or a teacher makes an observation that he's got some sort of he's fixated on some violence, or he's become withdrawn, or just presenting symptoms that are concerning, and then, or maybe he writes something that someone becomes concerned about, where he's discussing violence or hurting someone or others. Even if it's after hours, we do a threat assessment where we work with the schools, with the outreach counselors at the schools, and we go out to that student's home and talk to the parents, and with their permission, with their consent, we go into the child's bedroom, look through his things. The objective and the point being is to bring that information to the parents so they can be aware, and then the school, working with the school, they can provide some assistance to their wellness centers or make the appropriate referrals. And for us is making sure that that student doesn't possess any weapons, anything that can potentially be harmful to another student or a school. So we do a lot of these proactive measures, working collaboratively with the schools as well.
Also, we've been working, I know at least over the past 2 or 3 years, with the schools on training our officers if anything were to happen. strategies on, addressing any threats. Can you just touch on that, Commander?
Oh, sure. We've had some really comprehensive training with all our patrol force that's been put on by our specialized unit, our SWAT team, with the permission of the Board of Trustees and Mr. McCoy, for example, over at Oxnard High School was the most recent ones we did. Actually, we did another one over at Blackstock as well, where we went in and we trained all of our police officers in how to respond to an active shooter. Should there be an instance where there is an active shooter on one of these campuses, we trained all our police officers how to appropriately respond, to immediately go into a campus and stop the shooting and address it right away. So we did this comprehensive training program for all of our officers to be up to date in their training, and it was all here at our local campuses at Oxnard High School and also at Blackstock.
We understand in this day and age why families are, concerned and may have fears, and we totally understand those concerns you may have. And we just want to reassure you that our staff is trained. We work closely with our police officers, and we do have those resources available in Oxnard School District, at our school district, at all the local school districts as well. We just want to reassure everybody that we're all working in partnership together. So thank you.